And boom, boom, everybody. Boom, we are live. We are live. Welcome to LinkedUp on LinkedIn. Peter Clarke, Red TV. And welcome to wherever you are tuning in today. And I think we have an real international group today. So I'm hoping that they'll chime in on the comments and tell us where you're tuning in from. We are live on LinkedIn. We're live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Twitch and any little funny words you can say.com. We're probably there too. So we're probably hanging out there as well. Okay. I'm super pumped today, as you can see. I'm super pumped today because this guy, well, first of all, he lives in my climate. So right away, we can appreciate each other right there. We live in each other's climate. Hockey fans, so I love that. You got a CEO of Weatherology, author, speaker, podcast host, entrepreneur, all around good guy, no matter what other people might tell you. He is unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable. So I'm so pumped to have him here to join me today. Steve Wohlenhaus, how are you?
I'm doing well. I just went from my run, so I have layers on, Peter. I had like 5 layers on. It's 20 below zero, wind chill 50 below. We have a wind chill warning in effect, which the precursor is don't go outside because your exposed skin can freeze in 2 minutes. And I just say, that's exactly the kind of climate I want to be a part of. Let's go, man. I went for a run. So I just got the hoodie on and a few other things. So
hey, it looks great.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing okay. But I'm like you. I'm just trying to stay warm. It's like you said, just you go outside and your skin can freeze. So I know you're in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. I'm north of you over in western part of Canada in Alberta. So we've been in this deep freeze and we're trying to figure it out. So good for you to get out and do that. Is that a part of your normal startup for the day? Yeah, get out.
Yeah, I walk every day regardless. I don't care. Rain, shine, snow, freezing, a locust, it doesn't matter. So I'm outside. I love it. Run a couple days a week. I still do very intense exercise every day. I started adding running back into my regimen about 2 years ago. I ran every day for almost 30 years, and my knees begged for a pardon. So I started working on some strength things to kind of mitigate some of the effects of the damage I did. Now I'm right back out there. So anyway, love your studio, love your setup. Everything looks fantastic, my friend.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's a very kind compliment. And hey, I understand the knees because I'm an old goalie, so my knees are. so trust me, I know the feeling of you beat the hell out of your knees, and you still want to be active though, because the old Tony Robbins thing, motion creates emotion, right? So you just want to keep moving and flowing and so on. We got so much to cover today, my friend. And so I don't want anyone watching us right now to feel like we're rushing through this. It's just that there's so much to talk about. And so A, we'll probably do it again, but B, please know that I'm not trying to rush Steve through. He has a very busy day lined up, and I just want to take full advantage for everybody out there. So first of all, let's make sure everyone knows how to connect with you. And there's the LinkedUp address and so on. And I'm just curious, you spend amazing amount of time on LinkedIn, and you have a great following. You have 100+ followers. Your content's amazing. Always outside, always doing something. I love and they're short and sweet and to the point, which I love that. Why do you spend so much time on LinkedIn? Why do you love it here?
That's a great question, Peter. I just found a home there. When I went to do my personal branding 2.5 years ago, I made the conscious decision that LinkedIn would be the platform that I would spend most of the time on. After researching the demographic there, I decided that the highly educated, well-compensated, smart people would be a bit more receptive to what I have to say. And I didn't want to try to assert myself on other spaces where I may have to try to convince people that, hey, my 34 years of experience is actually worth something. Because I knew people on this platform would embrace the idea that, your track record kind of speaks for itself and demands credibility. And my perception was accurate. The reception I received on that platform has been great, and it just fuels my desire to give back. And quite honestly, there's a large number of people on that platform that have entrepreneurial ambitions, professional desires that I know I can help with. And they reach out to me privately, and the conversations we have are great. That's how you and I met. And the other platforms are great. I do some Facebook, some Instagram, and now Clubhouse. That's a great venue for me personally because I get to do this kind of stuff, which you and I both love. And had a great conversation with 4 powerful women on the platform yesterday talking about women's empowerment. My friend Tima, Hala, and my friend Alexandra Carter, who is just a phenomenal negotiating expert, and then Heather Monahan, who is like one of the most brilliant entrepreneurs in the world, no exaggeration. And we just had a great discussion. People joined us; they were inspired. So yeah, I love it. I love what social media can do when you use it in a positive way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of that, I just want to make sure, and we're not getting, for some reason, sometimes people, we don't see who is actually making these comments. We'll check them later, Steve, as we go. But look, you are amazing. And here's another, thank you for sharing this great conversation, Peter and Steve. Hey, absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. And sorry that we didn't see right there. Sometimes it doesn't show. So let's jump right into it, my fine friend. You are the CEO of Weatherology, but I have you, and I mean with this complete respect, because we're going to talk about that in a second. But I brought you on because of your leadership and all of the inspiring things that you put on there. And it's like, oh, by the way, he does this as well. So just to keep things kind of straight in people's different verticals of understanding, CEO of Weatherology, tell us Cole's Notes. What's the whole version? What is Weatherology and why you're so passionate about it?
Well, I started that company when I was 21, Peter. I was in major market TV in Minneapolis, year 11, a young person, 21, at a destination that most people, if they're lucky, get to in their 40s, and very few people do get to a market this size. So I got there very early. The responsibility was massive, and the pressure was massive. You're in a major market television, market where ratings, dictate your survival. And at that same time, the main weather guy here had a company he was starting, had me run the sales division, and I quickly built up sales. And then I realized that I had this ability to do this on my own. I started my own business. And ever since then, it's been a passion that just burns and drives my desire, my motivation. And for 34 years now, we've evolved into the #1 weather consulting company in the world that specializes in audio dissemination. We have 1,200 affiliates nationwide, syndicated by Westwood One outside of our 7-state coverage area. It's their most successful programming on the Westwood One radio network, which is the biggest radio network in America. And the people we touch every day, tens of millions of people hear our programming. And then we also have a digital division where we've created this audio API that integrates into the app, so you get a sample of that. It's real-time audio, no matter where you are in the world, in Fahrenheit or Celsius, with a real meteorologist that translates text in real time. It's remarkable technology. And the things that we're doing with that and plan to do with that technology are incredible. Why wouldn't I be excited, Peter? And I get to surround myself with the most remarkable people that create these ideas that I have and put these ideas into motion. And the energy and the enthusiasm and the freedom and love that we have at my organization is the same kind of corporate environment I hope everybody gets the pleasure of enjoying. And that's why I'm on LinkedIn, and that's why I share what I have to share, because I know it works. I'm not some guy fantasizing out there about what I think could work. I've tested this stuff over 34 years, evolving from a 21-year-old kid running a business that, like every other 21-year-old kid, I want to make a lot of money. I was tough to work with because my ego was big and my patience was very limited. And now over that 3.5-decade period, I've grown a lot, and I'm happy to share those lessons with people.
Oh, fantastic. And we just talked about weatherology. So say, hey, let's rock and roll. Let's try. I want to show everybody literally what this is, because I downloaded it last night, my fine friend. And I said, you know what? I got to see what's going on with this thing. So I'm hoping this is going to work. I tested it earlier. There's my beautiful wife. There we go. Boom. and so there's the app. You see Weatherology, everybody. If I click Weatherology, boom, there it comes up. Calgary. And by the way, everybody, this is why I'm excited to talk to him, because I don't know if you know anything about Canada. Whoever's listening, if you are Canadian, you know where I'm going with this. We love talking about the weather. We really do. Because you, especially in Western Canada, you might have 4 seasons in one day. I mean, right? So I'm pretty pumped because I woke up this morning, it was -20 or whatever it was. It's -12 now, and I'm pretty excited about that. So the app comes up. So I just want to show everybody what it is. There it is, about us. You can download the app. It was really straightforward, my friend. And then basically told him where I was. And then when you press this button, hopefully he'll talk.
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Chance for snow today, otherwise overcast. High of -7, winds out of the northeast, around 10 kilometers per hour. Chance for snow again tonight, lows dip down to about -12. -6 tomorrow, mainly sunny skies and calm. Near -6 Thursday, much warmer on Friday with highs near 1.
Ooh, near 1.
That's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Frobley. Currently, it's -12.
Hey,
how cool is that? I mean,
how
seriously,
cool is that? Come on,
yeah. And
right?
And that
Real time.
integrates into your car through CarPlay, Android Auto, and through smart speakers at home. It's all voice activated. Only thing like it in the world. Only weather app out of 25,000 weather apps that shows up under CarPlay that's actually authorized by CarPlay, because anything CarPlay does has to be voice activated and
Right.
audio based. Can't display anything on the dashboard, so it's all audio. Super proud. And there's radar. We're launching in a month, by the way, international radar. So even in Canada, you're going to be able to get up to the minute radar and future forecast snow and rain, and some other great features coming on this year. This app's blowing up all over the world, and I'm so proud of my team.
Oh man, that is exciting stuff. I'm excited for you. I'm super excited for you. I just, hey, I'm from Canada, so as soon as you start talking about, the weather and stuff like that, I'm in. so it's an easy sell up here. It's an easy sell. So congratulations on that. Let's jump around now. So that's just what. By the way, see what I'm getting at, everybody? This is just weatherology. We're just digging into that and so on. But let's start talking about your book and your podcast of the same name, Anatomy of Success. You put up a ton of content out there about success and again with the backbone of being Anatomy of Success. So I'll bring that book up for people to have a look at right now. And of course, it's available on Amazon. One of the things I like about having these conversations is sometimes we get a chance to dig what seems to be obvious. So if you write a book and have a podcast about anatomy of success, it means that you have a visualization of what that is, because then you can break it down. So let me ask you, just basically from you, because I don't think if I haven't heard it, that's my miss, but how do you define success? What does success mean to you the person, Steve the person?
That's the whole premise behind the book. I invite people to come to that conclusion on their own. And for me and for everybody else, it should be an individual question that we respond to based on our values. This journey for me started at 15. So how I define success and how I spell it out in the book, for instance, is a product of my own journey. And that's why this brand that I do is so easy for me, because it's a reflection of what I've done and what I do and what I believe in. And so many people reach out to me and they struggle with personal branding. And it's like, hey, I'm not making anything up. This is what I've done. This is what's worked for me. And along that journey, I realized that success should represent something very different for each of us. And so for me, it's health. It's my 4 tenets of equanimity. I call these things, and health is at the foundation, because we all know people that have had health suffer, and the consequences of that is that everything else suffers. It's like a 4-legged stool where one of the stool legs is broken, and you're trying to maintain your balance while you're teetering on the precipice of falling apart. So for me, health is everything. Healthy relationships, that's family relationships, interpersonal relationships, and then healthy intimate relationships. You're married, Peter. You know that you're not going to have a healthy relationship with your partner if you don't put time, effort, energy into having a healthy connection. And most people take that stuff for granted. They get married, they find a partner, and they focus on everything else because that becomes secondary and less relevant at the expense of it falling apart, because every person needs their needs satisfied, whatever they are. And that takes ongoing commitment. And then satisfying work. And there's some experts that debate, work's not that important. It's means to an end. And I say to that, nonsense. We all have to work. Many of us work 48, 80 hours a week. So why wouldn't we want to do something meaningful and substantive that compensates us well, and preferably gives us the ability to own our time, so that we can create a remarkable life that complements work, and work doesn't, in fact, define who we are or dictate so much of our time that we don't have time to dedicate to these other things. So my journey is a product of investing time in all these areas, which is very simple, quite honestly, but the satisfaction and happiness I derive as a product of that is insurmountable. So I encourage people to keep it simple and make a journey in this life based on whatever works for you, and resist the temptation to succumb to the desire that social media and society imposes on us to subscribe to their formula for success, which, as we know, is flawed and inherently, misguided, based on superficial things like materialism and appearance.
Absolutely true. What's fascinating about this experience for me is that You again are such a proponent of using social media as a force for good. So the bottom line is, we're not actually throwing social media under the bus here. We're just talking about the idea that, like you said, social media sometimes perpetuates a conversation that means that, hey, look what's behind me. Look at my pool, look at my house, look at my, look at where I'm vacationing, versus maybe having deeper conversations and interactions like we're actually having today, and so on. So I do want to mention this. So thank you for that. So I really appreciate that. Again, the book is available on, let me get that up there for you. It's available on Amazon, everybody. So this is the book itself, the cover, and there's a podcast that Steve, you do on a regular basis. So I jumped on that. I love the format because it's mostly, it's yourself, and you have these great short pieces, if you will, but they're concise, to the point, and man, they're just so impactful. In the book itself, inside there's something that you brought up, and I think it's really super important to mention. Before I ask that question, I just want to quickly go through those 4 tenets again. So just in case, I know we went through them pretty quickly. So the 4 tenets of, now, by the way, equanimity, that's a Scrabble word up here. That's a beautiful word. I love it. No, I love the word.
Yeah.
I love it.
It basically means, coming together in harmony.
Yeah.
And so these 4 tenets, health, of course, which is mental, physical, Peter. It's taking care of ourselves and investing time each and every day in our mental and physical well-being. Why wouldn't we want to do that? Without this, we don't have the ability to flourish in other aspects of our life. And so for me, I spend considerable amounts of time every day. I get up at 3:30 every day, and I spend hours a day. Intense exercise, long walks, my own form of meditation, reading, learning, growing. I'm one of these people that has an appetite for learning that's insatiable because I can't quench it. And to me, what that says, it's an admonition that I don't know anything, and I need to keep learning. And I meet people every day that teach me something new, and I love that. And I think that's part of where the humility comes from in leadership, is recognizing that and how we rely on people to help elevate us. And then relationships, relationships are so critically important because so many people are surrounded by what I call energy vampires, people that just suck the life out of them every day. They're lopsided. You're giving more than you're getting, and maybe you're not investing much either. So we all have to look at our relationships and ascertain, what am I getting out of this and what am I contributing? It's so easy to dismiss people today because they irritate you for some superficial thing, and then we write them off because they didn't live up to our big expectations. There's a lot of work that's involved in healthy relationships with our friends, our family, and then those intimate relationships, which I find is probably one of the most complicated. I think that's the most challenging tenet, because that involves another person. And now that requires 2 people coming together in the spirit of being extraordinary. And if you make a bad decision as it pertains to that personal connection, then you're inviting into your life a journey of misery, because maybe that person is just dealing with stuff that's so challenging that they can't give you what you need, and then you're sucked into this pit of despair, which is why I tell people, work on yourself, put yourself in a position where you're attracting the right energy, the right person, and then finally satisfying work. And that we could go on about all day, because that is one thing a lot of people struggle with. Your people reach out to me every day. I love my job, as you can clearly see. I've been doing this since I was 21, and I'm passionate. I have purpose, I have meaning, I have substance, and it drives me every day. I get out of bed at 3:30 before my alarm goes off, even if I slept for 4 hours the night before, because I can't wait. I can't wait to hit the ground running. There's so much to do, and I'm excited about so many things. So I want people to have that same sense of satisfaction. And there's a lot of ways we can go about doing that, but that's another conversation for another time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I love this. I love this. So, hey, I just want to make sure we're staying connected with her. So respect your transparency. Hey, and that's what we were just talking about there, is having that conversation where it's not about what I have or what I'm doing. You jump on and you using social media as a force for good. So I love that. Hey, a shout out to the best weather app ever. I love it. Rockstar. So I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And equanimity, coming together in harmony. Yeah, I love the definition. Absolutely. I love it as well. And like I said, I just love the way that you're positioning it so that there's an understanding for everybody that, again, how we define success, especially today and moving forward. needs to be challenged sometimes, and I think you do an amazing job of that. I love that so much. In this book, you mentioned something. I want to ask you why it was important to you. Inside this concept of the book, you talked about. I'm going to find something that you actually said. So if you don't mind, I'm going to throw it up here. I especially want to help young people apprehend destructive teenage tendencies and discover discipline as the foundation for personal excellence. That's a direct shout out to the younger generation that you want to reach. Why is that so important to you?
Well, because I think it starts early, Peter. If we can intercept kids at an early age and provide them with a better approach to living a healthier, happier life, we can avoid many of the complications that adults inevitably have to sort through for the rest of their life as they embrace destructive tendencies. And we all know, my brother included, who lived a life of drugs and alcohol, which precipitated an early demise at age 50 because of liver complications. So I watched him self-destruct. So through personal experience, again, I made the decision, because he was 8 years older than me, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And we can debate the vicissitudes of drug and alcohol use all day long. But for me personally, I saw the really unpleasant side of it. And I also came to realize that a lot of really warm-hearted, wonderful, beautiful people are most susceptible because they are so fragile. They have such big hearts. I learned my brother was this kind of person, huge heart, and he was so easily hurt, would never make that admission, but he was so easily hurt. I saw him using these things to conceal that and obviate the pain. And so I feel for that. And if we can help kids at an early age see that that path leads to heartache, sorrow, sadness more times than not. There's the casual consumption of those things, which, hey, whatever, that's your prerogative. I'm not here lecturing people, but far too often those things become all consuming.
Absolutely. No, and I super appreciate that because, again, everyone's journey is different. Everyone's journey is different. No one's on a soapbox. So I absolutely understood. Like you said, you're sharing your experience, which millions of people have shared in the sense of, someone being so personally affected by it, and you know the internal struggle and the suffering that comes from that. That's not a demise towards any industry or anything like that. It's just a fact of how some people respond to those things. So the fact that you're open and transparent to have those conversations, wanting to reach out to young people to say, hey, you can still be cool. You can still be cool and kind. You can still be cool and sober. You can still be cool and do all those things. And I appreciate the fact that you mentioned that specifically in Anatomy of Success, because I think that's a powerful message to the next generation. So I applaud you for that, my fine friend. Appreciate that. Hey, I just, again, I love your journey. Again, please, everybody, I'm going to make sure you get out to the LinkedIn site for sure. I mean, there's so much amazing content on there when it comes to I love the videos. Again, you're always outside, especially the winter ones. Hey, I'm a Canadian guy, so I'm checking the weather and going, God, he's out in -25. Like, what is he doing?
Well, somebody reached out yesterday. Does it ever stop snowing there? As we know, very seldom, maybe 4 months out of the year, we have green grass.
That's it, right? That's true. People say, that's true. We basically in northern parts of where we are, it's like you said, 6-7 months of winter, which makes you question everything sometimes, for sure. But here, I love the journey. So that's and again, for people to check with you on your content, specifically in your book, the podcast as well, everybody. I'm just curious, from your perspective, what are you so proud of? Or where do you find the pride? And pride, I'm not using it in an ego way. I'm just talking about what are you proud of in your personal journey so far?
My kids. I mean, my kids come to mind. I have a 21-year-old daughter that lives with me, who's amazing, well into her college career, coming up with business ideas she plans. My son's 6'7", played college basketball, dropped out to pursue his business ambitions, and now he's killing it. I mean, this kid's making so much dough at his age. His buddies are still strapped with debt, looking at him like, how do you do this? I want to do this. And he goes, it helps to have a dad like this, that from the day you were born indoctrinated you in this idea that you're capable of doing this stuff. And when he came to me, Peter, he was, even despite the fact that we've had so many conversations over the years about him being free to do whatever he wants, and I support him, he was still trepidatious because I'm in college, I got the scholarship, and I want to drop out because I really feel this urge to do this thing. And I said, buddy, it's your journey, man. I'm here to to be a spectator. And I applaud you for having the courage to do it. Do it. And you went off and did this thing. I take so much pride in that, Peter. It's unbelievable. I take pride in my remarkable teams at Weatherology, the people I get to work with. Very little pride in myself because, every day is a challenge, and I really, truly strive to be better each and every day. And quite honestly, I'm at a point in my life where I've been blessed with everything you can imagine. And so I get more satisfaction and pride out of doing stuff like this and helping people. It's cliche, and some people are full of crap when they say that because it's all about them. But I can honestly tell you, when the people reach out to me that I get to talk to and share with me their journey and their success, it's truly gratifying for me.
It's amazing. Well, it shows, my friend, just so you know, it shows. I mean, you can hear it. I mean, you hear intention. I'm a big fan of that word, intention. I love Wayne Dyer and the power of intention. So again, it's always about what's the intention here. And you can normally see it kinesthetically. It's also one of those, my favorite phrases is watch what people do. They'll tell you who they are. So just watch what they do. Right? So watch what they do, not what they say, watch what they do. And when they show you what they do the first time, believe them. And just
that's awesome.
Moving forward. Hey, speaking of your children, and if comfortable for me to ask this question, is that, it's been a very difficult 12 months, beyond doubt. I mean, for the globe, and so on. I'm wondering, with the challenges this year, what kinds of conversations are you having with your kids to keep them inspired and optimistic?
Well, the funny thing is they operate much like I do. They're optimistic, they're positive. They try to put a positive spin on everything. And despite these unpleasant circumstances for many people, much like myself, they see through example, Peter, like you just said. They see how you respond, and that provides them with a roadmap of how we deal with adversity. So when I found out the gyms were going to be shut down, I spent $400 on some really decent basic equipment and turned my music studio into a gym with pull-up bars and workouts out in the garage, which my garage is heated, but it's still maybe 40 degrees. I take my shirt off and I do killer workouts out there because nothing's going to slow me down. I run outside, I jump rope outside on the patio when it's 15 below zero. I look at it like, okay, we're going to play this game. Fine. You're trying to throw me a curveball. How about if I step up to the plate, smack it over the fence for you? And so you have to learn. I mean, the stuff that I talk about, I've been through a lot, and I understand adversity, I understand pain, and I understand how we can use that as a tool to promote better personal growth. So a lot of these things I write about, that I talk about, again, it's a product of my own experience, and that's the benefit of having a lot of experience. And at the same time, being able to speak to things from a reference that's based on actual, trial and error.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And again, those conversations, those intimate conversations you're having with your children, and I think you just touched on it, with your son doing so well. It was your son's business, right? That's doing so well. The fact that he basically, is telling his buddies, hey, it's because of my dad. It's nice to have someone around like my dad to kind of show me the way. I think that's a very
that
powerful
helps.
statement.
But in all modesty, I mean, he's doing it. He's doing the work. He's making the commitment. He's doing it. And that's the big thing. It's one thing to learn or acquire the knowledge, get the inspiration, but then we have to apply it, act on it. And he is in the process of acting every day. And that's the catalyst for success in everything, as we know.
Okay, we're gonna have to have another show about that. Well, I'll talk about how's he making the dough. I want in. So hold on, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for now. So I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing about your what you're proud of with your kids. I mean, that just says a lot about you as a person. And again, it's been a very challenging time, and I know you're online a tremendous amount. You're speaking to business leaders, you're consulting with them, you're coaching with them, and you have private conversations and so on. And the temperature out there, I'm sure that you can feel. I'm not talking about the physical temperature. I'm just talking about the temperature of the mindset of everybody. It's been a roller coaster, to say the least. I'm wondering, for you personally, not necessarily your business, but for you as a person, what keeps you hopeful? What keeps you hopeful and optimistic these days?
Well, I mean, I think in my case, I've had the benefit of a long track record of overcoming obstacles. So there's the reassurance that I have the ability, the historical precedent that I've established that shows me time and time again, I will rise above whatever challenge confronts me and get over it. And so when you have that kind of inertia, it's unstoppable. And so for me, when this pandemic hit, over a year ago, or almost a year ago, I was prepared mentally and embraced the challenge, and we rise above it. My business has been profitable since the first year in business, and every year since then for 3.5 decades. So I talk to people, and when you look at how many things I've been through over that 3.5 decade period, I mean, I started my business in '87 on Black Friday, when the stock market took the biggest dive in history.
October 19th, 1987.
Yeah. So talk about, hey, welcome to business. Everybody's depressed. So, first lesson in this is what reality is all about. And I've been through real estate bubbles bursting, the Great Recession, a decade of lost economic benefit for many people as we slipped into this 10-year period of atrophy. So I've been through 7 or 8 economic recessions, and I've been through some really difficult times, and we've always risen above it because we have a plan and we're prepared. And this was no different. And so again, that's the problem with social media, Peter. There's so many people out there advocating for things, and to me, it's a bunch of recycled nonsense. Anybody can read a book on why, tries, and then regurgitate the same bullshit. What are you doing? What have you done? What have you actually done that is different? Do you challenge these ideas? Do you ever challenge what why is and why that might not be applicable to me, or what variation of that might be more suitable? Tribes, there's danger in tribes. Is there a better way to approach that, to create a group of people that support one another, where we don't have the intoxicating effects of detrimental side effects of a tribe? I think critically, and I analyze things, and I look at the good. I love those books, and there's great messages in there, and I'm not attacking. I love both authors immensely, and I read their stuff constantly, but they want you to challenge those ideas, and that's what we need to do, to come up with our own version of these things, and then actually apply it. And I think that's the benefit of having so much experience, which I think is part of the reason people are drawn to what I have to say, because they understand that this is coming from a person that isn't trying to candy coat anything, isn't trying to, sell us on something. And I'm not selling coaching services or anything. I don't even do that. This is me out there giving to the world. At some point in my life, I may do some interesting things on my own, but right now I have a business to run. And so, but I do have a lot of people reach out to me asking if I would do that. And I refer them oftentimes to my friends that are very good in that space.
Wow, fantastic. I love that. I mean, this is, and there is, again, back to that intention, the concept of intention, and your intention seems to be pretty clear right now. Where you are in your own space with your business and your family, and you do that. Your other passion of helping people is just almost a byproduct of who you are. So it doesn't become a sales script. It's not like, hey, reach out to me, I have a sales program. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. This is,
hey, LinkedIn is
programs,
like I tell people. Yeah, no, I
Right.
tell people, hey, they ask me all the time. I said, you do it's your business, and people need to understand on a platform like that, it's a professional platform. And if you don't like the pitches, then I understand that. But I don't personally get into when people reach out to me. I decline because I'm not in the market for anything. But, I don't ignore them or treat them disrespectfully because I'm somehow offended that somebody solicited my business on a platform that's, engineered toward professional people. So I appreciate people's efforts, but the answer is unequivocally no. 9 out of 10 times, unless there's something I'm really in the market for. We do everything internally, Peter. And that's one thing that I pride ourselves on is, we don't outsource anything. Intellectual property, we have developers, we have marketing, digital marketing, creative directors, sales, everything is internal. And not to suggest outsourcing is a bad idea, but the way we operate best by internalizing everything and coaching the people that impact our business every day to embrace common values that we share and represent the company in a way that creates this family atmosphere.
I love it. I love it. How lucky are they, by the way? Just so you know, this is a commentary. It's not a question. I'm just saying they're very lucky to have leaders today with this mindset. Man, again, we just need them so much. So thank you for, being part of that, because I think that's a journey that
I appreciate that. But I, to be honest, I feel lucky to have them, because with these people on my team, the amount of free time I get to focus on what I need to do to be a better person and more patient and loving and understanding, they give me the time to do that so that I can take a vision that I always have very clear in my mind. And I take the time to sort through that. I have time to be creative, innovative, and focus on the things that I personally believe are imperative for successful companies today.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Hey, people got a big fan of you here. Amazing dad, exceptional leader. Look at that. Boom. Right there.
Thank you,
And I
Mom.
apologize. Right.
She's in heaven communicating to LinkedIn. God bless you.
There you go. There you go. And I think critically for yourself and then act. Very well said, Steve. So absolutely. So listen, I super appreciate you sharing all those little nuggets in there. Just even in conversation, it naturally comes from you, which is fantastic. Hey, let's have some fun. Let's have some
Why
fun.
not?
I mean, not to say I haven't been having fun.
Is clothing optional, Peter, or what's the deal here?
That's another video, another show, another video. We can set that one up another time. There's no doubt about that. You know what's so fascinating? So back to your point about connecting with people. You and I connected here on LinkedIn, and I know that you've made tremendous amount of connections, and again, you have like 100,000 followers plus, so obviously people enjoy your content and so on, but most times you don't get to know people. You kind of get to know them, but you don't get to know them. And I'm just thinking about people who don't make the amount of content that you do, and maybe aren't or who don't have a platform like you do. So I still love this part of the show where I came up with something called this or that. And basically, I'm just going to ask you two things, and you just pick one of them, and it gives me an insight into the mind of Steve Wohlenhaus. Gives me. Now, I don't know if you want to go in there.
Go here.
Hey, listen,
Dr. Peter. Is this like a form of a lobotomy? Is that what this is?
No, it's just I just find it fascinating sometimes just to hear answers, and then I think other people go again. Listen, this is not Oprah or 60 Minutes. There's nothing here there's no gotcha. There's no, hey, here's your grade 7 teacher. None of that. It's all good stuff. So let's go down through a quick run through of this or that with Steve, and these are straightforward and so on. So I know you're a health guy, and so let's start up with this one. Green tea or a good black coffee?
I make my own tea, but
I
prefer tea. I love the smell of coffee. Not a coffee drinker, like decaffeinated tea, but actually make my own tea.
Okay, fantastic. See, there you go. See what I just said right there. I didn't know that. How about this? Spider-Man or Batman?
Good question. I'd have to say Batman because I love the toys. The Batmobile, the Batboat. Yeah, my kind of guy. Yeah.
Cool outfit. I mean, come on, it's a pretty cool outfit.
Plus, you get to mix it up with the Joker. I mean, what could be better than that?
Come on, right?
Yeah.
60s music or 80s music?
Great question. 80s near and dear, since that's when I was in high school, so I can think of a lot of wonderful music that resonates with me. But I have to say, going back to the 60s, the Beatles, the Stones, right. Led Zeppelin. I mean, that is music to me that is timeless. And I can't even imagine ever having another period like that in musical history, where bands that were so strong then are still strong today. Many of those bands sell more records today than they did back then, Peter, because parents have passed on to their kids an appreciation like I did. My daughter's got a Stones t-shirt.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, I love music, by the way. Obviously, this is my music studio here, but I've got a special place in my heart. Jimi Hendrix, and I mean, all those people just revolutionized music. Crazy time.
You gotta love when a young person comes to you, which has happened to me. I'm sure it's for you too. Or it's like, Dad, you ever hear this guitar player? It's unbelievable. Some guy named Jimi Hendrix, and you're like, yeah, no, do tell.
Yeah, please let me know. Yeah, great question. No.
I love it. Okay, Shawshank Redemption or Gladiator?
God, two great movies. I love Shawshank Redemption. I really do. There's just, that movie was so well acted. Morgan Freeman in that movie, and just the way he narrated that, I love that movie. I don't know, that's just a movie I can watch repeatedly, and there's very few movies that I can watch repeatedly and find myself still captivated. Gladiator is great because I love that period in history. It fascinates me, and the macho aspect of it is super appealing to me.
I love also its backdrop against Marcus Aurelius, which is also a great writer, a great person who wrote amazing things that we have now collectively here in history. So it's fantastic. So no, but either one of them, by the way, if I just stumble on them on the TV, I always think I'll watch it for 5 minutes, and then of course I'm watching the movie.
You're sucked in for 3 hours. Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, watch this one. I know you're a hockey fan. Watch this one. Minnesota North Stars or Dallas Stars?
Oh my God. Are you, this is blasphemy, Peter. You should know better than to even ask me. I'm going to come up there with a hockey stick and put you in a gunny sack and bring you out on the pond and just smack you around. I mean, I'll tell you the story about Norm Green, who was the jackass that stole my hockey team and brought him to
Right,
Dallas, where they
right,
had great. Just at the time, we picked up Brian Madonna, who was
right,
the superstar on our team, and he went down
right.
there to win Stanley Cups in Dallas. So we had to sit up here and watch our team have success in Dallas. So I'm a North Star fan. I didn't ever celebrate the Dallas Stars. I'm so sorry to tell my friends in Dallas that, but okay, I'm bitter. I'm resentful. What do you want me to
Gee,
say?
you can.
You know,
Hey, you would never say.
no, that, you know what? I'll tell you how severe that decision was for me. That decision forced me to adopt the Chicago Blackhawks as my
Oh,
official team. I told myself until we get a new professional franchise here, which we do now, the Minnesota Wild,
yeah.
I would not follow the Dallas Stars. That's how obstinate I was about that. So I
Oh.
picked up the Chicago Blackhawks, and Kane and Taves finally won me a couple of Stanley Cups, which was great. But now I'm all on board with the Minnesota
Oh,
Wild.
and listen, come on, and for anybody, our original talking about you went back to an original six, which is fantastic, Chicago. But from a Jersey perspective, the North Stars
Oh,
were amazing. Can you imagine?
I
I'm
know.
dating myself now. Gump, I can go as far as back as Gump Worsley without a mask.
Well, I was going to say you were a goalie. Can you
Yeah.
imagine anything more? I mean, you want to talk about getting outside your comfort zone? These goalies back in the 60s and 70s, man,
No
you're
mask.
standing there getting peppered with pucks
Right.
that, I mean, hurt even when you have equipment on, let alone when you get hit in the face. I mean, these were my heroes growing up, the
Oh,
Gump and, Bill Goldsworthy. And
Goldsworthy,
I mean,
right?
oh, my dad used to take me to the old Met Center, which was God, people that are in Minneapolis listening right now are reminiscing with me. We used to watch football outside, and right next door was the old Met Center.
Ah,
And I'll never forget one of the first times I went to a hockey game with my dad and my brother. And I mean, it was a brutal brawl. I think it was against Toronto, believe it or not.
okay.
And there was a fight, and the woman next to my family, this is ridiculous. I can't stand this. My brother looked at her and said, "Lady, this is the best part of the game. What are you
This is
talking
the.
about?" And we started laughing. It was great. Great
Oh,
camaraderie over hockey.
I know. Hey, listen, great memories always of going to a hockey game, ice hockey game. If anyone, again, in your network or my network, if you haven't been to a professional hockey game, it's pretty cool to see it at
It's
that level.
amazing.
They are at a different level altogether. So, okay, here's another one to be careful of for your people in your neighborhood here. Food, booyah or walleye?
Neither.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so everyone
to be
just
honest, as much as fish is phenomenal for you. Walleye, incidentally, is kind of the native fish here, so that's a
that's right.
very brilliant question. Walleye is the delicacy here in Minnesota. Our lakes are filled with northern pike and walleyes, and walleye, if prepared properly, is a delicious fish that many people in this area, and I think probably in Canada too, right? It's because you guys
Absolutely.
have massive walleyes up there in northern pike that you catch. But yeah, I've just never I never acquired a taste for seafood. I can do shellfish like shrimp and lobster, and then I can do sushi. But that's about as far as I go into the seafood realm.
Yeah, what about booyah? That's the stew. That's the well-known stew there. Booya, everybody. Booyah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a bola base with the.
Oh no, I'm
I
sorry.
kind of
So
broke up on.
Booya. Booyah.
Yeah,
Am I saying that right? I thought it was booyah.
no, you are. I just unfortunately we're kind of breaking up a little bit. So I thought you were
Pause.
in the fish family with all this stuff and talking about. My dad used to make like a fish stew that was kind of a bouillon-based type thing. But anyway, so yeah, I prefer that over walleye.
There you go. There. Okay, got you. Hey, I just wanted to throw that at you. I grew up on the east coast of Canada,
Yeah.
surrounded by the best seafood in the world. Never acquired a
Mm,
taste for it. Never acquired a
I
taste
know.
for it. I don't know why. So it's
Believe me, I wish I had.
right. I know. I miss it as well. Hey, how about this for travel? Europe or the Caribbean?
Oh, that's a tough question, Peter. I'll tell you, I have visited 16 islands in the Caribbean, and I have a few favorites that I love. I love that place. In fact, I'm going back in a week or so. And I love Europe though too. I mean, I've been to Italy. I've been to so many beautiful places in Europe. I love it. So many places I want to explore. I can't decide one or the other. I mean, I want to see so many places, and I'm so excited when we finally start to see travel resume and I can start
Yes.
to get out and do more traveling. It's something I really miss. And I
Yes.
plan to
Well,
go more to the Caribbean, but really Europe is a place that I want to spend more time exploring.
fantastic. And your favorite place? Well, favorite. We're in Caribbean, and we're in the Caribbean specifically.
You
If you
know,
get,
there's a little island called Curacao. It's down off the coast of
oh,
South
exactly.
America,
Yes, I
one
know
of
where.
the ABC islands, right by Aruba.
Yes.
And there's a place there which is the #1 resort in all the Caribbean. It's a 5-star place. The guy that owns it's a friend. He's the largest hotel operator in Europe that owns 5-star hotels. This is his private little enclave. He flies his private helicopter in there. There's private little bungalows. I mean, it is the most incredible
Wow.
experience imaginable. They should pay me for this
I was just
advertisement.
going to say, listen, hey, listen, we're going to chat about this after the show. We're going to talk about this after the
Yeah,
show.
you have to take your wife there. You will be treated. They have a 5-star Italian chef that lives on the premises, and
Okay.
I'd
Yeah.
never had a salsa in my life that
Really?
was
Oh.
better than the salsa they prepared. And he gave me a bottle of it to bring home because I treat everybody wherever I go like kings and queens. And it's funny, no matter where I stay, they always give me great gifts and drive me to the airport and
Oh.
welcome me back. And he goes, "You've been so amazing. Everybody here love the energy you give. And here's this bottle." And they confiscated it at the airport, Peter. I was
Oh.
just heartbroken. It's like,
Oh.
what are you doing? I watched the lady.
Dude.
"We can't let you bring this on the airport."
Oh.
No, stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know that part of the world a little bit. Well, my wife is from that part of the world. She's just off the coast of South America, from Trinidad area. So there you go.
Oh,
So I know that area a little bit, but I've traveled through the Caribbean, totally understand the passion for it. And we'll definitely talk about your friend off air. I appreciate that. Hey, speaking of vacations and so on, and this is probably, I have a funny feeling what you're going to say with this one. Sunrise or sunset?
I'm a sunrise guy, really, because I'm up before the sun. So when it finally gets up to greet me, I embrace it with open arms. Love the sunrise.
There you go. I got it. How about this? A day on Necker Island with Richard Branson, or a day with Elon Musk, talking about SpaceX?
Oof. Two people I admire a great deal. You've given me a very difficult choice. I would never turn down any opportunity to meet with anybody like that has been so successful and so humble and passionate in their journey. Um, I'm super fascinated by what Elon's up to, though, right now, because as a scientist, I really love space and I love, the mysteries of space. So I think he and I could have some incredibly stimulating conversations.
Yeah, to say the least, right? To say the least, 100%. I'm so excited for this one. Here we go. Hope or freedom?
Freedom. Yeah, without freedom, there's no hope anyway. So if you, were to give me either option, I'll take freedom because I can turn freedom into hope any day. Without freedom, and there's plenty of people in the world that don't have that, it's hard to have hope, I think.
Yeah, great. Hey, listen, there's no wrong answer for this, but I love that. I love that. I appreciate that. My fine friend, finish this sentence for me. I love my life because
I get to get up every day as a healthy person, do what I love to do, and make a difference in the world. And the satisfaction I receive from that, and being able to look back on my life with no regret and say every decision I made has turned out just fine, and it's worked to my advantage. And know that as I go through my life, no matter how long that should last, I won't ever be one of those people that looks back and questions why I didn't do something I knew I had the ability to do, because I've been able to do that and plan to do much more as long as I can. So I feel blessed and grateful, Peter.
Gratitude, my friend, right? There you
Yes,
go.
for
How do you
sure.
go? How do you not go well in life with that? Steve, I just knew we were going to have a great conversation. I just knew, and we just touched on all these things: Weatherology, anatomy of success, the book, the podcast, the download of the app. Everybody, it's just been a pleasure to talk with you. I love all of your content. I want to make sure everyone goes out and connects with you on your LinkedIn profile. I got it scrolling along the bottom down there. I sure hope we get a chance to do this again. And I'm just wishing you great success moving forward, my friend. And let's get through this bitter cold. And I know that, again, we'll see each other crisscrossing on LinkedIn. So I super appreciate your time today.
Yeah, and I look forward to getting together in person. We're neighbors practically, Peter. So at some point, we're going to see a hockey game. Maybe when Minnesota comes up and plays Calgary, I'll come up there, watch a game, or you come down here. But yeah, there's no excuse for us not to get together. And I love what you're doing with the show. I got to tell you, it's so professional, and you do such a nice job. And I admire people that do good work, and you do good work, my friend.
Wow, that's super kind. Thank you, my friend. I super appreciate that. I want to thank everybody for watching. First of all, linked up on LinkedIn and live LinkedIn, because again, Steve is a dominant force out there on the platform, and the content is amazing, everybody. And what I love again about it is the snippets of information are just so impactful. So please go to his LinkedIn profile, check it out, reach out to him if it resonates. Remember, his business is Weatherology, but he's a thought leader as well. So I think there's lots of room for open discussion there. Look forward to our first hockey game, by the way. Look forward to that. We're going to have to do it like a Minnesota Wild Calgary Flames thing. Absolutely, we're going to have to do one of those things. That'll be a lot of fun. Now I'm going to get you to choose. This is the first time I've ever done this. This is the first time I've ever done
Great.
This.
The sacrificial lamb laid on me.
No, this is all good. I normally finish off with a quick little video to finish out the show. So I'm going to give you a choice. We talked about Richard Branson, so I can show you a quick little video of what that island is like, and of my personal experience there. Or I can tell you the story behind this ball.
Wow. That piqued my curiosity. Is there something you want to tell me about that ball now? I'm super.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it is a round ball of plastic is what it is. It's a round ball of plastic. So you get to choose the story behind this or a little bit of the Richard Branson we just talked about.
Well, there's a reason for you personally why that ball means something. So I can go find Richard Branson videos online. I'm more interested in what's going on with that ball.
My fine friend, I appreciate that. Thank you again, sir. Been a pleasure. Everyone else out there, we appreciate you tuning in. And of course, as we always say, be kind out there, everybody. Be kind. We'll see you on the other side, Steve. See you, everybody. Cheers.
So I found a new friend, and we traded a pen for this soccer ball. And I thought it was really nice because I just gave him the pen because he'd been helping me throughout the day to learn 𝘾𝙡𝙀. And he's a very smart boy, knows English very well, very good English. Yes. So I gave him a pen, which they love pens, and 10-15 minutes later he came back and gave me a ball for the trade. So I just thought that was really, really cool because I didn't ask for it. So 𝘾𝙡𝙀𝙀. Yeah, pita. Yeah, so he gave me that, so I'm really, really happy about that, and I'll be bringing this back to Canada. And yeah, I thought it was awesome. He's a really, really, really clever kid. He's going to be an English teacher. Professor. Yeah. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.